guys, to another season of The Shrine. It's been a long sabbatical. The COVID lockdown had everyone by the neck, but it's over now. Welcome back.
Thank you. What's that new season here? To Charlie vibes and Inshallah. Vibes and Inshallah.
I think your check got lost in the mail. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
How was your lockdown?
The economy was the economy. Much as your grandfather was telling us that the cows were still giving birth. But for us, we did not see those births. So now we're hoping we get another chance in the second half of the year.
How was your lockdown?
This one was surprisingly more okay than the other one. I think perhaps because we had learned how to maneuver. You know, the first time, they say the second time is the charm. So.
They took your lockdown budget.
This one is the third.
No, I'm saying they said third time is the charm.
Third time, okay, you can always change it to suit your needs. Well, that is what the other person said, but for me now, I've also said mine.
Kifubu, what were you up to?
Just waiting for the second.
Oh.
I'm not a fan, so. So
This must be a sad life.
Ugandan, I'm not a fan, just.
Which bank do you use? Which bank do you use?
We're going to call double jeopardy. Actually, I've always maintained that really, if there's any such place as hell, for us Ugandans, we should be allowed to bleed. That we have already been there.
Submit your national ID.
A man should not suffer twice for the same offense.
They ask you to where are you going? Show God your national ID.
I've already come from hell.
Very serious now.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at a modern day job. The devil has just got
To test him.
to test you fully. He's living a very, very sad life. But what to do? Otherwise, during lockdown, there was a resounding opinion, how can I put it, phenomenon that kept on coming up. Mental health, how you have to keep saying in the lockdown, which I find I find it truthful because and like this was in some way a sort of a prison. You're not used to being with your wife, then they put you there, your wife, your kids in one room. They were locked.
You drove on the bypass and you meet yourselves on the bypass.
And then you do it.
There are some bushes there that can just leave it.
That is when LDU finds. But okay. Like the issue of mental health kept coming up, But I feel like it's a one-track conversation. The moment you say mental health, it's like these people who said what believe the victim. You understand? Like the moment you say mental health, everyone believes you must be a victim. All
whatever you might have done, we blame it on bad mental health.
And now, I don't see anyone asking the tough question of where do we draw the line between mental health and just plain lack of accountability. What do you think?
I feel like before you go into the discussion of mental health, right? The question that should be asked is there a standard of mental health that everyone needs to be very?
Very good question, because
there's always been that saying that we're all mad.
Yes.
To vary degrees.
Yeah. And being in Uganda alone can test your mental health. Like just being a Ugandan.
That is true. You go to police, you may go take a case, they tell you first bring man and Uganda rescue.
And you're wondering, like, the hell? Like, recently I saw an article that that man that the Prime Minister called was also staged. That it wasn't the real border guy. I'm like, you guys.
One of the paid actor.
Hey.
Why was from the Guru?
Our mayor's office assistant. I'm like, you guys.
Shit like that.
And sometimes I think this guy is making it up just to make fun of us. Like, you can't do this.
You know, but in
I'm
Uganda,
challenged.
I've learned to accept that the truth is always stranger than fiction.
That is true.
So being a Ugandan will test you like,
And
and
a test to mental health.
yes, we've managed to become all of us. Actually, I think every Ugandan school should be showing, instead of the Jesus movie, they should be showing the Joker.
We need to learn about this.
We are all jokers. You understand?
Yeah.
Everything has just been turned into a joke, a meme. Like that's how people are. That's their
That could be
unhealthy
like-
coping
yeah,
mechanism.
It could be like a national coping mechanism.
Mm.
No.
Yes.
And if you're talking about mental health in terms of coping mechanism, so the issue with your mental capabilities, right, is you can sit down and fight it, right? Your body will fight itself. If you do nothing, it will find no need to attack, right? But because most people exist strictly within the confines of their mind, your mental capabilities are always being tested and adapting, right? Right. So if you go and say mental health, right, and yet your mental capabilities are constantly evolving and testing themselves, right? You may find that your mental health is actually more resilient than you give it credit for, because it may be one of the few faculties that you're forced to constantly use and constantly exercise and exposed to constantly adapt. So you may find that you're not as mentally. What you call mental health may just be in most cases a comfort food, where you feel like you're tired of exercising it, right? And you now just want a soft life, which is also not healthy because it's meant to be exercise. So I feel like yes, there are some cases, like there are extremes, right? Where you can be like, that guy is not collapse. But I feel like most of the everyday things that guys want to run mental health, just it boils down to go spike.
During the Olympics, there was a US gymnast. Did you hear of her? Simone
Yeah,
Biles?
Simone Biles.
Simone Biles.
So thinking, I read an article.
What did you?
What happened to Simone
So
Simone
Biles?
Biles.
she's a gold medalist, right?
Yeah.
So this was on the Joe Rogan
On
podcast.
this?
Joe Rogan Experience, the podcast, right? So she's like one of the
Please,
greatest.
please, don't advertise for me.
Okay, she's one of the greatest
Yeah.
gymnasts in
Yeah.
America, right? Very great sportswoman. So she goes to the Olympics and she has a bad performance and she refuses to participate in most of her games, citing mental health. She feels her confidence was shaken. And then I found out that she takes it's called ADHD medication in America, right? For
Attention deficit.
yeah, like it's allegedly branded mental health issue, right? But in Japan, where the Olympics were held, right, that medication, there is a chemical in that medication, right, that is banned. It's classified as an illicit substance in Japan. So she didn't have access to the same drug, right, here in Japan that she has in America, right? And so when she was in the middle of her performance, because she didn't have it, she sort of slipped, she lost her game, and then she was got injured, and then she became very scared, right? And then she turned around and cried mental health. Yes, she was the team leader, she was actually representing Team USA in the Olympics, like this is our greatest story of this year. So if you take into account the backstory rather than her just shouting mental health, it's either a case of drug dependency, in which case because she doesn't have access to a drug that usually helps her perform.
So, but what if it was fingered by a doctor? What if it was given to?
Yeah, but that's the
You
thing.
can't blame her
Yes.
for it.
No,
that's what I'm
no,
saying.
he's not
No,
saying
you can't.
her.
But it could be a case of, it's like people who get severe pain, right? And they're like the opioid crisis. Most of those guys started off as you have really like a genuine health issue, it's a severe pain, they give you an
Yeah.
opioid. Then you get addicted and you can't live without it.
I heard that even Jackie Chandiru, the drug she got addicted to, was first prescribed by a doctor.
Yeah, so it could be that this girl is just suffering from drug dependency. Or the alternative is all the fame and her achievements have been blown up into her head.
And
For me, I like to approach this thing with some empathy. That I don't want to dismiss with a wave of the hand everyone who blames their problems on poor mental health, because it's a really important matter. I'm one of those who really think that people who are suffering from poor mental health deserve a lot more empathy than maybe they've gotten over the years. Actually, in fact, previously, people with poor mental health were really neglected by the society. In fact, stigmatized so seriously that I think you've heard of those stories in the past where a young man in the family who ran mad was chained to a tree, something like that. They were treated really badly. But keeping that in mind, I also know that for a very long time, poor mental health or insanity or infirmity of the mind has been used as an excuse for a very long time, as a scapegoat for a very long time. Criminals have used it.
Yes.
I come here, I kill Kenny, then I say that me I was insane. Yes, because when
You don't want to go to prison.
so we have to remind ourselves of the fact that it can be used as a scapegoat for people who want to avoid accountability. But that does not take away the importance of the empathy.
I don't know if, but I believe my answer allow me assume. But let me put it forward, maybe to bring about the discussion. How come the rise in many of youths crying mental health and whatnot has come at a time where recreational drug use has become very mainstream? You know?
You think that the two are connected?
I'm assuming that they are. Because it's right now, I think it's harder to find someone who doesn't smoke weed than someone who does. All of us here know at least 5 people who do.
You go without ourselves.
Yes.
Excluding me.
Excluding
Also means excluding me.
ancestors don't. So I don't know. I may be just finding for a reason where there isn't, but I feel there is a connection there. And even, of course, the alcohol has gone up, the Tusimu Day phenomenon.
But what if it's just a coping mechanism? Because the things that make you crazy are the problems that you have. And so occasionally you hide from them using alcohol.
There is research that shows all these things. Okay, alcohol
I think that
causes brain damage.
We could say so, but I want to maintain that poor mental health has been there long before.
Yes.
Not just alcoholism, but before people started using intoxicants as much as they do now. So in as much as I think the two can be related, I think several intoxicants can cause someone's mental health to deteriorate. But again, we cannot just paint it with a broad. I think we would be oversimplifying if we said that the youth are using drugs, and that is why their mental health has deteriorated. That would be to sound like that would be to adopt a Lokondo approach.
Lokondo.
And only 2 times. I thought to add
how many times have I for arresting paracetamol of the men? I will not forgive you.
No, but okay, you can make the argument, and I know people that have been admitted to mental health institutions because of but 2 of them that I know on a personal level, and I know that there are issues predating their drug abuse, like you say. And so I would have to take us one side.
No, I'm saying it's not the drugs. Okay, for example, we all have different biological makeups. You understand? You may be mildly psychotic, but you don't know. You understand?
Yes.
Now,
so
when these things,
and
they are triggers. Because first of all, they have all these hallucinatory effects. You understand? You start seeing things, and to go back to 100%, that people have seen who start on this pattern. They start messes with their short-term memory. They start being very forgetful.
Yeah, that one is true.
No, there is that category, right?
And to use these things, you must also be feeding well.
Some people are
not feeding well. So, anyway, like you said, it's not the soul, but I also see a connection there.
Yeah, but for me, I think I think it's the tip of the iceberg. Drug use in relation to poor mental health.
Okay. Why is it? So, what is causing this? Why is it now?
I think because over the years, you had to hide the fact that your mental health was deteriorated. But now, because it has been normalized. It has so many organizations are telling people that please treat people with bad mental health better. There's a lot of activism in that regard. It has been normalized, and maybe that is why we know more people whose mental health have deteriorated. You get it?
Right? I'm looking for the list of incident framework because we are all feminists here.
I don't know if that is true about you, but okay.
No, my question is
His
this.
membership is still under review. Continue.
My question is this, right? For a species who has the ability to talk themselves into having a good day, right? For a species that is able to be mentally programmed to the extent that humans are, right? Isn't it entirely possible, okay, that this entire craze around mental health, right, could also, on a given level, be manufactured?
Yes, yeah.
Because
It sells more pills.
yes,
Yeah.
it sells more pills, it does.
Yeah.
So, at what point do you draw to say that this person has an actual mental health issue, right? And where you go back and say, this guy is just a victim of program. Like, he's been watching too many things about.
I read a book.
He's Googling his own symptoms, so to speak.
I read a book that really fascinated me. There was a new technique that psychiatrists were experimenting with in America. I don't know what it was called, but it's like a bit of like hypnosis, you know? And it was a bit like they were trying to, like, the core value was you act the way you are because of certain key events in your childhood, you know? All of a sudden, there was an increase in like Americans saying their fathers sexually assaulted them as
It became sort
children.
of,
Yes, even when like many of them were just manufacturing these
But I
methods.
also know that people are in the habit of people love playing victim. People love being the victim. I don't know where.
It makes your condition more livable.
And there's also this identity politics that we have adopted so much that before I voice my opinion, I first attach my identity as a cisgender man and as a victim of domestic violence. You don't have to qualify that. Just voice your opinion. So with all that, it is causing people to make allegations that you see me, I was abused as a child. Because now it sort of makes
want to
you.
fit in the group.
It gives them a higher moral high ground.
It gives you some moral high ground over those who have not been so victimized.
True.
So that's also a thing, because like I've always like it's an opinion of voice, right? And I've heard for some time some of the people, if you look at some of the cases where people say that they've had mental health issues and things, whether I've had a bad day at work and now I'm depressed. Like, no, that was a bad day. You all get bad days. Is it that you had a bad day that depressed you, or is it because you're so fixated on some imaginary utopia, sugar candy mountain,
I also
that
believe
because you've not reached it, you feel like you're now depressed? And yet, if you stop looking at sugar candy mountain and just looked at life for what it is, you'd find that your life is no different really from hundreds and billions and thousands of other people.
In my exploration phase, where I was trying to read about all these religions and whatnot, when I reached Buddhism, I liked the way they phrase their doctrine. So the Buddha says life is suffering. It's suffering. It's a cycle, like it's a never-ending cycle. Till you reach enlightenment, that's when you break the cycle. But you suffer, die, reincarnate, like it continues, you know?
But I also know that some people, when you've already accepted the role of victim, you are so in love with the role of victim, it makes you also unable to help yourself in situations where you could easily help yourself. Some of the people who get, for instance, depressed, they are depressed, for instance, because of opinions of other people. People think I'm ugly. You get? So you're safe. How can people say that I'm ugly? But I think for me, I'm one of those who have been raised on the notion that sticks and stones may break my back, but words will never hurt me. Because, you see, for words to hurt you, you have to allow it. You get?
They say break my bones, but continue.
Decolonize.
Focus.
He's rewriting the whole English language.
Focus.
He started the second
Focus
time
on
with
the
the
substance,
child.
not the form. Focus on the substance.
Where
Second time with the
Substance
child.
over form. Substance over form.
126
Yeah.
Please, this is not a legal clinic.
So, I think that most of us, everyone, I think, has the power to choose not to be affected by what opinions of other people are about them. You get? It is you who has to allow it. That if a kid comes and says, Ken, you are too thin, if the wind blows, you're going to fall off the balcony. It is up to you to get angry or not. You get? You could choose not to get angry and you'll be a happier man if you don't get angry about it. Or you could choose to make it, you could choose to become sad about it, that you spend the whole night failing to sleep because somebody said you are like a skeleton. Or someone said you are darker than midnight. You're like under the bed. Someone was ever told Bonach
The best one, I had some kid tell him that when mosquitoes are going to bite, they come with a torch. When mosquitoes come to bite, they come with a torch. But
all these things, you have the power. Me, I know. But that you as an individual, you could choose not to be affected.
Another thing where, because this whole argument, by the way, has also come in the time of social media. It has come in the time of social media. I post my picture. Or someone makes a comment about my nose, how it's too big, and
it shatters your confidence.
Yes.
But then I always ask
who
is must you post?
No, is it this person who has said that my nose is too big? Are they cyber harassing me, or am I the one who is weak?
You're weak.
I think I'm one of those who think that this so-called cyber harassment. Really, I don't look at it as an offense I should be. If it was up to me, if I was a lawmaker.
I don't know, was it Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle who said you have the ability to look away from the phone?
Me, I grew up, I saw people being bullied. Me, I witnessed some bullying in the schools that I've been to. I've seen people.
Put you under.
Yes, they can you. They put your head this way and your legs this way and can you. So that one, there's no way of running away.
Also, they told him to what? To dab a pillow. He once dabbed a pillow in primary school.
Slowly and dramatically.
For the record, that is not true. But
They can see something and he officially denies.
If you see him being anti-romance.
So when somebody can come and say, these are issues, but I have taken them. I like your issues, I have taken them. Now that is actual. For me, that is what I call bullying. But that I went to Facebook and somebody said that I am ugly. Okay, I am ugly. Now what am I going to do about it?
He's cyber harassing you.
No.
He's being toxic.
If he tells me that I'm ugly, I realize that every time I post a selfie on Facebook, this guy comes and says that I'm ugly. First things first, I block him. If I'm unable to block him, I log out from Facebook. But the real bullying is where you can't run away. The real bullying is where you cannot run away. But this one where you can just log out. You log out and be happy.
I think one of the most dangerous things is it's a concept. It's something called concept creep. Right? Concept creep means the definition of something keeps expanding gradually until when you look at the final definition, it no longer looks like what the word actually started out as. Right? So if bullying starts out as someone beats you, tap, 1, 2, 3, pulls your underwear over your head and puts your head in a toilet. Now when someone tells you mean things on Twitter or Facebook, it's bullying. Right? Those are two very different definitions. So you can't double them both as bullying. And I think it has done us the great disservice. Concept creep has done us the great disservice of actually fully appreciating what human beings are on a social level. We're very competitive. Like it is impossible for a human being to exist in heaven for the very simple reason that Eden is utopia, and a human being must manufacture conflict. There is some innate thing. So for you, if you were expecting, right? If you've now invented this sort of unrealistic bubble where you have expectations that the true nature of the human should not exist. Should be anti-conflict, so should be nice.
If I'm to amalgamate both your opinions, you're saying social media body shaming is bullshit. how does
Well, I think that these are just bad people. These are bad mannered people.
Yes.
You get?
it's
Well,
making it a thing. Body
We're
shaming.
in a country whereby women were killed in Nigeria and we don't know who killed them.
And we're
For me, those are
okay.
the things that I'm more interested. Those are the real crimes. If we spend our time debating how somebody was told that they have a big stomach, I think we'll be when we're losing it now.
Let's talk about 2 weeks.
In as much as it is not nice to tell people that they have a big stomach,
It's not the worst crime.
it is not the worst of crimes that should make us lose sleep. Bad people are there in society. Okay, people who are unpleasant are there. Some people, they're always annoying people. But I believe that a normal person must be able to tolerate a reasonable degree of inconvenience. You cannot say that for you, annoying you is an offense. That was why I used to find it completely ridiculous that we had an offense called sedition, that you have annoyed the president. What do you mean annoyed?
So, by the way, that's sort of like people don't want to make annoying the president an offense. Rightly so. Right? They feel like, we should be able to annoy him, free speech, whatever. But when it comes to annoying you want to make annoying
No.
an offense.
I think people should be free to annoy me.
Yeah, no, I'm
No,
saying
you're not saying
basically-
Oh, but they, the people themselves.
Yes, they feel like I should be allowed to annoy the president, but I should not be
They
allowed
should not be,
to annoy me. Like it works both ways. If you want to annoy someone, you get to be annoyed.
I see this concept and
Because
it's
for me, I
really-
believe that getting annoyed is a choice. You can choose to ignore the people who would annoy you verbally. You get the one you can't ignore is the
I
one
think-
the one who punches you in the face. You can't ignore him. But
even as children,
Mm.
there was a line. You would insult each other
Mm.
until the person would like abuse your mother.
And then you say, "Hey!" But for me,
Baby, I'm mama, tell you what them.
Baby,
Baby, I'm mama, tell you what them.
and it was justified for you to beat that person.
Because you would put up with everything.
People would say,
until
"Hey,
it
but
brings in
no,
your
no,
parents. Baby, mama, oh.
That
Then
makes
you-
sense. But that makes
how
sense,
it's
right?
run.
Because we have agreed that up to this level.
There are some rules of engagement.
Yes, we should be allowed to abuse each other. Up to here.
Yeah.
But if you say that no one should annoy each other ever again, what are you up to? Like I am genuinely irritated and terrified of people that seek out utopias. Because the basis of everything fascist that most people don't want to understand.
Is refusing any form of disagreement.
Yes, and trying to create utopias. Guys have never understood that the Nazis began as a socialist party that was hell bent on manufacturing a utopia, right, for the Germans at that time because of what had happened in the First World War and everything. And when they failed, they just turned their guns into finding a common enemy to blame for their failures. Because it is inherently impossible to establish a utopia. When they inevitably fail to establish the utopia, they now have to find someone to turn their guns to blame for their failures and be like, this is the reason.
We would have attained a utopia if not for
If not
this.
The Jews.
Yes. Now here you have to find modern people to blame. And I feel like mental health is one of those things that people are using to scapegoat the failure to create the utopia that cannot exist.
And that's what I get scared by that way. Like, I feel like we're going to spend too much time on, like, as a society. Because now, even us, like, even, I don't want to say the word, but whole countries, like, Trump called them, have also been roped into these first world problems. And we should
Man.
focus
So
on
It's
exactly.
still solving hunger and
That-
unemployment.
That's my point exactly.
and someone is getting angry over pronouns. I'm like,
You
guys,
guys, really.
Let us-
So in that
They
you
do not
first
cook
find
out.
food and then
Tetuna took out
We don't have money
pronouns.
for Chikommando, but we're saying that they called
They've
you,
called you
he
hello
instead of
pronouns.
he instead of they.
Guys, let us.
It is a curious case of misplaced priorities, really.
And-
We still have starving children in Karamoja. Those are the important matters that we
the
need to
banks have
say.
compared your economy, you're not discussing that. You're
Exactly.
discussing
Exactly.
how they called me fat on Facebook.
Yes, the
Really.
IFM is advising our bankers at Bank of Uganda to increase the minimum capital rate required.
But you've decided the hill I am going to die on is someone told me I have a big stomach.
Yeah.
I think we are going to become very fragile as humans.
We shall have a generation of idiots here. If every small thing you lose your mind, I thought that was, even when we were young, we always tried to avoid playing with those guys who cried every time. Every small thing.
Oh, reported. Because it's a form of reporting, by the
Ah.
way. You know those kids who used to report everything, each and everything, you know?
Wow, very bad better.
They should tell us how life is.
Yes, I should tell us how I went.
Life in Israel.
Because
Guys,
there's a kid at office we have, right? The caretaker at office has 2 kids. One is, I think, is making 3 years. Both boys. And so the older one is making 2-3 years. Every slight thing, every small inconvenience, he drops whatever he's doing, goes on the ground in tears, runs back to his mother, reports. So one day, I know the mother, but the son he raised, who feels that every small thing is important. He survived long in this world where he's supposed to be a man, where he has to carry other people's burdens. It's like, no, see, in this day and age, men should express themselves. And well, I told her, okay, the jury is still out. Call me in 20 years. And I see how this experiment turns. I feel like it's an experiment that needs to run its course, but the problem with it is by the time the results come.
We've skipped the stage.
I think
For me,
I
skipped the stage because you first have to have some basics in place. You know, you first have to have some before you worry about which pronoun you're called. We don't have enough toilets. Those people are worrying about how to label that. We don't.
But for you don't have the toilet to label.
Yes, to label that.
You get. You're lucky if the whole village has one toilet.
Yes.
There are places here in Chimombasa where for 200 people are using one small toilet.
Yes.
But for you, are worried about pronouns.
So I think as a nation, we need to realign
our priorities. Yeah.
And also, people are resilient. Your mental health is more resilient. Like I said at the beginning, right? You just go to bed, you may not even be annoyed, you may just be hungry. First,
but I think also,
sleep.
this is the male Marie Antoinette. Cannot afford.
Okay, fine. Don't find the commando.
Most of the time, by the time a man is bitter in this Kampala, most of the time he doesn't have money for Java. Most of the time.
And we cancelled Javas after they are at
But they told us that that cannot survive in the machine. That girl was like, some experts who have made some smoothies themselves are saying that it is impossible for that to survive in the machine.
Animal protein and you're complaining. Java is concerned about your life.
Again, in trying to be macho Dean, that's not over Chikusu.
I think that there's some animal protein in that. Have you heard of bubonic plague?
It is a 19th century disease.
You get dysentery.
You go and kiss the rat and tell us after.
But I don't know which Java, but I know that those big hotels in Kampala have a
No, many, even not in Kampala.
Where there is food.
Yes, even in New York, everywhere.
Yes.
Where there is food, rats will come.
But, so what I was saying is, generally, yes, you may feel like you're depressed or you may have a bad day, right? But you shouldn't rush to label it mental health. Sometimes you just,
sometimes,
the world has given
sometimes
you,
some of the people who are crying mental
rest.
health, hey, someone commented that my stomach is big. Man, there are people who have lost their homes. You get the people whose homes have been taken by land robbers. We are here, you bypass them every day, they carry you on their border. You get people who haven't eaten for 3 days.
They'll tell you that invalidate my pain.
It does not invalidate your pain, but
we try to compare.
Remind yourself that, man, mine is not too bad.
I have the option to exercise.
Yes, for me the stomach I can jog. I can jog and the stomach goes away.
Are you fat shaming?
Side note, our very almost one here had a big pot belly.
Yeah.
He has been
I
exercising.
have been exercising. Instead of crying, there's the pot belly now.
We
So
shaved him and now we shaved
now should I thank the fat shaman?
Yes.
Very good. Very good. It brings me back to an incident. There's that picture that made rounds of a very obese kid in the taxi park waiting, I think, for a taxi. You know, first of all, it came as a joke, like, oh my god, this kid is fat. All of a sudden, like a few hours, that turned into how
dare you laugh at the
dare
fat
you
kid?
fat shame the kid.
He's obese. I feel like obesity is.
But I think also when someone is eating badly,
You
they
should
are
tell
growing
them.
fat. I think the wise thing to do is to save them from becoming totally uncontrollably obese by telling them that, man, if you continue like this, you are going to continue treating your mouth like a dustbin. You're going to become uncontrollably fat. I don't know where do we draw the line? At what point does it become cautioning? At what point do we move from cautioning someone genuinely out of genuine concern for their health?
Someone will say you're being sarcastic when you add a little sarcasm or a little
But okay,
fun.
to address specifically what you
Because now, what would you do if you saw you're seeing Bernardine, it's very bad every day. It's like a Marabu stock. When it is no meal undone. 8 meals a day. You can see clearly the man is losing it. So would I be wrong in telling him that you man, please control your feeding habits? We forget.
But
his happiness is what matters.
No.
No. He will be unhappy when he gets diabetes.
But specifically for fat shaming, right? The human body developed certain biological cues it's repulsed by to ensure that only fit people make it to the next generation, right? So you see someone and on a biological level, you're repulsed by their unfit traits. You feel like their genes are not, they should not be around. We're reproductive. Our biology is designed to carry on the fittest genes, right? Being fat is not a fit gene.
Do you tell yourself this when you're not gymming?
Yes, I tell myself this and I wake up at 4 and I go to the gym. But no, for the last 2 weeks I've been 150. But so what happens is, at a certain point, especially for fat shaming, right? For someone that is obese, the big guys, the fat guys, but then there's a certain point, right?
Right, you can't handle your weight.
Yeah, whereby you're so uncontrollably obese, right? That even the people around you are naturally repulsed by what they're seeing, because it is a very unhealthy mechanism that your brain survival instinct is recognizing.
But I know people.
But they're forced to hold this, and it works 2 ways, right? If you reach that point, if you say you take the filters of fat shaming, okay, hopefully someone will shame you into a gym, right? But if you keep the filters on, you find one guy tell it to you, and the next thing you're jumping off a cliff because you feel suicide, right? But if you reach that level and tell guys, sort him out. Peer pressure works, by the way.
So sometimes there's good peer pressure.
Yeah, sometimes there's peer pressure that needs to be applied to help you get yourself back in order, right? So some of the things that you want to complain about are actually nature's own survival mechanisms that you have decided to ignore completely in the pursuit of happiness.
There's a lot of emphasis on fat shaming. What of us who are skinny shamed? They affect our mental health. Our metabolisms are very high.
Say it again.
Metabolisms.
Again.
Metabolisms.
Say it.
Why don't you decolonize?
Okay.
What of us who are small and are skinny shamed? Our metabolisms are very high.
It's healthy living.
How should we?
Healthy living should be told.
No, sometimes some people are malnourished also. You're eating badly. You're eating commando every day. So sometimes, no, most of the time the good food in Uganda is cheap. The good food in Uganda is cheap. If you go to the market, you will find cabbage is very cheap. You get sukuma wiki is very cheap. So you cannot use that excuse that me I can only afford chikomando.
Actually, cabbage is cheaper than chikomando.
Yeah, so the food that is required to nourish the human being is readily available. It just needs people to take the decision to take up that kind of feeding. But
what I think, right? We should teach good health. Because exercise, good health, good rest, those are the things that will help you keep your mental health insane, right? So let us, in our syllabus, let us first throw out the Canadian prairies. Most of us are not going to them either way, right? We teach health and nutrition, make it a compulsory subject, how to feed yourself, right? What are the things you need, where can we get this?
What does your body need?
Yes. To date, I've never used the Canadian prairies in my life. I've never gone there, and I'm sure that if one day I end up there, I'm not going to.
It will be inconsequential.
Yes, it will be
inconsequential. You read about it in S3
yes.
with your legs in a bucket of cold water.
Yes. So let us learn the things that matter. If you want to grow bananas, that should be in your syllabus. Why are you learning about Napoleon? Napoleon will talk most in readers now.
But let us know, guys, what you think about this whole body shaming, fat shaming, mental health issue in the comments. Share, subscribe, and we shall continue the discussion. This is the initial episode. We have to bring more.
I think that this topic is much wider.
Yes, we have to bring more experts, and maybe we find a survivor.
Perhaps you can also find a victim.
Yes,
who can share with us their experience.
And their triggers.
Perhaps you might need to hear from someone who has actually gone through it.
Something that before we wrap up, the concept of safe spaces.
I think that the safe spaces that people are creating these ways.
How do you want to be safe?
I used to think that
it's a very challenging concept.
I used to think they're not a safe space
forethought. It's a safe space
It's
from.
from thoughts. Like my guy, how
I only want to be with people who think like me, who are always telling me I'm very wise, telling me that I'm
Who
that I
don't
have
see
a-
my
yeah, who tell me that I have a six pack.
and then, yeah, that conversation also informs part of the discussion and something. I mean, yes, I get it in some cases.
I think it is the epitome of intellectual dishonesty. Like, it doesn't get any worse than that. When you choose to only
associate.
reaffirm what you already believe.
Actually, that's not.
It is a despicable trait that I totally get it.
You may say you're atheist, but as long as you're following that line, now family within a religion, it's just that
Yeah.
God has changed.
Yeah.
The dynamics of the God you're worshiping has now changed, but you're now family within the confines of the religion. Because even Christians want to be safe from witch doctors.
Yeah.
They create
Yeah.
church
So
as a
they
safe
create
space
church.
from witch
And
doctors.
they burn
into fire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they burn with some holy water.
And send them to have
And now
fire.
some unscrupulous pastors have used this opportunity of smearing anointing oil to burn trust their female members.
Because the safe space must be protected at all costs.
Kamusiga mafuta bomo.
We have a guest who was supposed to be here, but unfortunately couldn't make it. He wanted to talk about the God delusion in respect to mental
We
health.
can do it to the next time.
Yeah, so we
Perhaps
shall
we can.
bring him and he expounds further. Until next time, peace.